Urban Legends. This Warbond is great in some ways, and not so great in others. That's why I call it a mixed bag. You read the title, you know what you're getting into, and you'll see why I think that way as we discuss each item in the Warbond. We have to start at page 1, and we're going to kick off page 1 with the SH-51 Directional Shield. We're starting off this Warbond with one of the worst stratagems in the entire game, in my opinion at least. The Directional Shield is what you get when you really want Reinhardt in your semi-realistic PvE game. It projects a shield in front of you that can protect you and anyone behind you from projectiles. It doesn't have a lot of health, but unlike the ballistic shield, it does not break permanently when it runs out of health. Instead, it will simply retract and recharge energy until you're ready to use it again. This is definitely the best part about the Directional Shield. It won't permanently break no matter what you throw at it, but everything else about it is just very underwhelming. For starters, it doesn't block melee damage at all, so it is useless against the bugs, and you won't be blocking any damage from the Voteless or Berserkers or any melee enemies like that. Think about that. A shield backpack that doesn't block melee damage. Plus, it doesn't shield you when you have it on your back, when you're holding a two-handed weapon. The ballistic shield will protect your back if you're holding a two-handed weapon, but you will not get the same luxury here with the Directional Shield. And even though the shield can theoretically protect your allies as well as yourself, when is that ever gonna happen? You would need an insane level of cohesion and coordination for that to work. People just don't stick that close together even when they are working together and communicating. It's just not worth doing, and honestly, this stratagem is not worth choosing. Just take the ballistic shield instead. Yeah, it might break on you at some point, but at least it can protect your back and protect you against melee attacks. It's just superior in my opinion. Next up, we have the CQC-19 Stun Lance. Believe it or not, this is the only weapon in the entire Warbond, which has to be my biggest problem with Urban Legends. Only one weapon, and it's melee. No guns or support weapons at all. The weapon itself is pretty unique. It was among the first melee weapons ever added to the game, with the other being the Stun Baton. The Stun Lance is a secondary, just like every other melee weapon except for that god-awful flag, and it is the exact same as the flag in every single way except for looks. Plus, it doesn't take up the support weapon slot, so you have no reason to take the flag. Do not take the flag ever, just don't do it. Even though I'm not a big fan of melee in this game, this is one of my favorite melee weapons in the whole game. You get the lunge distance that you can use to hit enemies that are a bit further away from you, plus you get the stun effect, which can actually come in handy sometimes. The damage is nothing to write home about. It does the same damage as the combat hatchet and the saber, but it can't attack as fast as those two can. But keep in mind that you still get the stun effect and better range than those two weapons. This isn't very good at killing enemies outright, but it can save your life if you're totally dry on ammo and an enemy is charging towards you. You can use it with a shield for a cool shield and spear loadout, but please use the ballistic shield for that instead of the Directional Shield. You get no benefit for using the Directional Shield with a melee weapon. Just don't do it. Overall, I'm not super enthused about this weapon because I'm not a big fan of melee, but it's decent enough for a melee weapon. But the real problem I have is that this is the only weapon in the Warbond, so I'm just not very happy about that. Next up, we have the SR-24 Street Scout Armor Set. And this is where shit gets real. This has to be one of the sleekest looking armors in the game. Very tactical. I can imagine that this is a pretty popular one with people who appreciate the military aesthetic. It has a cool camo pattern and a really cool chest rig. You see all those like little mag pouches and shit on there. It's very nice. The helmet is great too. It fits perfectly with any armor set that uses the classic black and yellow color scheme. This is a light armor set with 50 armor rating, so it is tied for the best mobility in the entire game. The passive in this Warbond is Siege Ready, and Siege Ready is one of my favorite passives in the entire game, and I know a lot of people feel the same way. What it does is it makes your reloads for all primary weapons 30% faster. That is a massive increase, and it's good for literally everybody. You will always find a good use for this perk no matter what enemy you're fighting or what mission you're doing. The other perk increases your ammo capacity by 20% for every weapon you're holding. This applies to everything except for the ultimatum, which rounded itself up to give an extra round, but this was removed a few months ago. The funny thing is that this perk was never an intended feature. It was only meant to increase your ammo capacity for your primary weapons, but people liked it so much that they changed the description and just left it quote-unquote broken as it is. This is another perk that you will always find a use for. More ammo means that you don't need supplies as often, meaning that you almost always have a means of defending yourself. Getting an extra machine gun magazine or an extra belt for your grenade launcher makes a huge difference. If you wanted a reason to buy this Warbond, this passive has to be the #1 reason that I would give you. Now we're moving on to page 2. And starting off on page 2, we have the Armed Resupply Pods booster. This is a really great idea for a booster, and I'm a big fan of the concept. This booster pretty much turns every one of your resupply pods into a pseudo guard dog. Every resupply will come attached with a liberator that fires the same rounds that the liberator penetrator does, allowing it to deal decent damage to enemies and penetrate medium armor. The ammo capacity is very limited, only 140 rounds for every resupply pod, but it's a nice little boost to your firepower if you're in a defensive situation. This booster is not always useful though. I don't call in resupplies when I'm in active combat, and I will quickly grab what I need and move on anyways. So this is best for missions where you need to defend an area, even for a short amount of time. So it's great for helping you raise flags, launch missiles, and pretty much any other objective that requires you to stay in one area for a few minutes. The real problem with this booster is the same problem that every new booster has, which is that booster balancing is just not where it should be. There are always 3 boosters that everyone takes, and most of the other boosters are forgotten about. I don't know how to fully solve this problem, but it is a problem, and we should keep pointing out this problem until there are some balancing changes regarding boosters. Anyway, the booster itself is good, but it suffers from the current balancing of the game. That's all. Next up, we have the A-Flam 40 Flame Sentry. This is a very easy stratagem to understand. It's a flame sentry. That's about all you need to know about it. You can't use it over long distances like lots of other sentries, so you don't want to use it when you're, say, attacking an enemy outpost, especially if you're going against the bots. But it's pretty damn good against melee range enemies, and it can defend an area pretty well. Plus, it has great fire damage resistance, so it won't be easily damaged by itself or by you if you're running a fire-based loadout. It also explodes when it's destroyed, dealing pretty good damage to anything around it while setting everything on fire. So it is a good choice if you want to hold down a choke point for a decent amount of time. This one has grown on me quite a bit, and I like it a lot, so it's pretty damn good, and I recommend it against enemies like the bugs and also the Illuminate. Not quite so much against the bots for its short range, because that will be a big detriment on the battlefield, but if you're holding down close quarters areas, this is pretty damn good, and it's a nice defensive option. Page 2 also comes with an armor set, the SR-18 Roadblock armor set. This is definitely my preferred armor from this Warbond. I'm not a big fan of light armor, but I do like heavy armor, which this is. Visually, it's very nice. It has that bulky, round trooper look to it. Plus it has those cool mag pouches, which I'm always a fan of. The helmet isn't my favorite, but the whole armor set is very close to the basic Helldivers color palette, so you could mix and match this with a lot of different other helmets or armor sets, and it would still look good. This armor also comes with the Siege Ready passive, and I'll say it again, this is one of the best passives in the game, so I 100% recommend this armor to anyone who already likes heavy armor. The Siege Ready passive really does sell this Warbond for me, and I'm glad that there is a set of heavy armor in this Warbond that already has it. Time for page 3, and on page 3 we have the Super Pedestrian title. This is a pretty good title, definitely one of the most humorous titles in the game. It's always funny to see how many things you can just slap the word super onto, like super paper clips or super screwdrivers. So yeah, it's a good title. Next up, we have the EAT-12 anti-tank emplacement. This is an extremely useful stratagem if you can use it correctly. You call it down, and it sets up a massive cannon that you can manually use against your enemies. As the name states, it's anti-tank, so you can use it to destroy enemy buildings like fabricators, bulk fabricators, and even command bunkers. So, as you can guess, this stratagem is really good against the bots. You can land in a blitz mission, snipe all of the enemy bases, and end the mission right there. The biggest issue with this stratagem is the turning speed. It is incredibly slow, and if an enemy is approaching you from behind, you will not be able to turn around fast enough. This is not a good choice against enemy infantry or any medium enemies, but if you use it defensively as well, you can do some massive damage to hold down large enemies and vehicles. So it's great for high value asset extraction missions. You can hold areas really well with this thing. The anti-tank emplacement is not something that you should bring into every mission, but there are certain situations where it excels, and it's also just very fun to use. So I recommend this thing a lot. Next up, we have the "This is Democracy" emote. This is absolutely one of the best emotes in the game. Not only is it pretty hilarious to kick your teammates over and over again in the face, this is an actual melee attack when you're in the mission too. You can kick enemies in the face with this emote, or you control your friends and, kick the shit out of them. It's really fun. It also gets extra melee damage from armor passives like Peak Physique. Pretty insane stuff. It counts as a melee attack, according to the game's logic. It's definitely one of the most unique emotes in the game, and it's just really, strange and cool. And I guess I'll also show off the concrete jungle vehicle pattern on each of the vehicles now. It's a pretty nice pattern. I like the urban camo. It fits really well on the mechs and the FRV in particular. I don't know why you would want it on your shuttle or your pod. It's not like those things, stay on the ground a lot. But I appreciate it, and I would like to see more camouflage-based vehicle patterns in the future. Like a woodland camo, or, I don't know, like a digital camo or something. Anyways, it's very nice stuff. I like this pattern quite a bit. In conclusion, this Warbond does have a lot to offer, but it's not one that sticks out in my mind when I think of my favorite Warbonds. And the reason I think that way is very simple. There are no guns. And I really like having new guns to test out and play with and have fun with. It's one of the best parts about a new Warbond for me is getting a new weapon, leveling it up and having a blast with it. It's really cool stuff. But if you're totally satisfied with the guns you already have, then this is a really good choice for a Warbond. You get 2 great stratagems, and the directional shield is there too. You get one of the best melee weapons in the game if you're into melee, and you get one of the best armor passives in the game, bar none. There's a lot to love about Urban Legends, and if you find yourself intrigued by anything I've said here today, then go and check it out for yourself. I think it's worth buying if you know what you're getting into. It's not the first Warbond I would buy if I was a new player, but if you like the guns you have already and you don't plan on changing things up, you get some really solid stratagems here, and, well, it's pretty good. But what do you think about Urban Legends? Is it bad? Is it good? Do you like the directional shield? You should go to hell. Let me know in the comments down below. I want to thank my channel members, Swickity, Cheddar, and ArchAngelShipyards. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. Make sure to like this video if you enjoyed watching, and subscribe for more videos on Helldivers 2, and of course, more Warbond reviews. And that's all I have for today, so this is the SES Prophet of Dawn, signing off.